to talk about an agent select.
It's been leashed behind us anyways.
Oh, has it? Oh, okay. In which case...
Just kidding.
Let's open the scoring on Abyss. Anything in particular that you want to see or have seen?
It is the same on both sides so far. I feel like a lot of people, especially in chat, the last few times TeamLiquid Academy have played, have come in and been like, Brim and Omen on Abyss? Double controller of this kind? What is this? And then they're proven wrong every single time. And I think it's wait a minute. Yeah, wait a minute. There is something.
Talk to me. What is the something?
Mystic isn't on Omen, Prox is. You remember?
Yes.
I literally just said he's been having issues with the Taeho. They're changing it. They're switching it. The Mystic Taeho debut.
I think this is a good move, but I am worried about making changes this far in. Is that we were seeing improvement,
Yeah,
and now it's whether that's come to anything or if they've. I feel like it's giving up, isn't
Mystic
it?
played Initiator. That's why I was so confused why he wasn't willing to with this squad in his like iota of time, right, with Fnatic and all of that. So I feel like it'll be a nice return, and I feel like it's typical for Initiator to be on IGL anyways.
Well, enough said. We've got to get into the action. We're joined by the two fellas that love watching Challengers teams. It's Hazard and Cairo.
Yeah, love watching Challengers teams and love watching Challengers teams in the grand final as well. We've already got one in Eternal Fire. Let's see if Liquid Academy can take a fourth win. You've been backing them to the end of the earth. I want you to state your piece, Cairo. Give us a reason why.
I'll tell you why, right? Because I feel as if TeamLiquid Academy have a combination of VCT experience as well as the prodigies that could potentially go and hit that T1 stage. I think that you look at GSR, right? He can't play probably until halfway through 2027. But yeah, he looks like the hot potato that everyone wants to try and grab. And I don't think Team Liquid should let that player go.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's how hot potatoes work, but I do agree with you, right? He is a hot topic, that's for sure.
Hot topic, yeah, that's a better word.
As are Liquid here. Mystic back on the Teho, a role which we saw Cupid playing previously in the team, and we'll have to see how that works on the attack side. Already taking up the A main space. GX did well to defend this position before against Snarvy, and in the corner early, Ara has a huge chance to strike. It is just 2 to kick things off though, and that will put GX on the back foot.
Just for a moment, player advantage still, as the players of Team Liquid Academy are going to force themselves in towards backside for a post plant. This seems to be the correct decision, but Grabinho could give himself away here.
Hungry for one more, it seems. Paranoia going to hit a couple of members on the Liquid side. It's Prox that goes down eventually, and it's a very favourable exchange for GX.
Yeah, now look at them. Proactive, moving up towards heaven. Need to be careful now of this position, Team Liquid, as they take CT. Realistically, if they allow GX to go and take that site, it could have been awkward, but instead, back towards CT.
Oh, 1-0 just misses the timing. And when you thought that Liquid Academy had missed the boat at getting the plant in here scot-free,
30 seconds
they're going to walk away with a fully vacant A site. Mystic's tap has called the GX players back towards this side of the map, so they're playing on a timer now, but finally the captain will stick it.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, Hazard, because you're looking at Grubby. He's walked all the way around to A main.
Late flank coming in, so it falls to the shoulders of Westside. And Zeru early insert, trademark beneath the feet of the pole. Giving away a few steps as to where he is retaking from, so Mystic joins up with his teammate for good measure. About halfway gone on the spike now here already, and finally we have the first action between the two. In the 2-on-2, it's down to Grubby and 1-0 now. Defuse on towards half. Grubby gonna get it. Just baiting out this next peak from 1-0, but in a flurry of taps, it takes a while for him to swing, and when he does, it's 1-0 with 3.
Yeah, I mean, GSR was the one who I spoke about in the pre-game, but 1-0 is another player, round to round, face to face, who has continuously been heating up. I mean, on Formulation Gaming, as you can see from his tag, but since he's been found out by Liquid Academy as how good he could possibly be in a really competent support network, he's been different gravy.
And that's the picture that we paint, the contrast between the two teams. Liquid Academy, a project in progress, making changes, whereas GiantX now, with a couple of months under their belt, reinvesting into this core. For 2026, the question is, do they get a better lift-off? And the off-season is such a key part of that.
It is. So players now start to begin to scale out. The shots from Rex good, so we'll catch out Ara, but Cloud at the same time just dropped into sight, and there's no real returns from this. There's players everywhere from GX, and a real chance to win the round. That's just problems that TeamLiquid Academy had yesterday, and they continue to pop up.
Grubby again flanking, the pistols popping off for GX here. It's going to be a crazy second round win, and you look at Rex, he's only picked up the sniper.
Yeah, hasn't opted for it yet though, wants to use that ghost. And remember, Spike still in GiantX's hands. That's the real issues here, as Westside does have the Headhunter still available. And in a 2 versus 1, you actually favour the defender's side, the one who lost the pistol round as they come through, although heading into Rex's crosshairs, maybe not advisable.
30 seconds left.
Needs to clutch this one up. A big round to try and win out, because GiantX will be straight back in this. But a reposition from Westside is awkward. Rex going round, up top is Westside, and a thrifty round collected. Straight back in this game is GiantX.
It's the eco round, which looks better than the pistol for GX in the end on the classics, but past this first engagement, Ara walking down middle, I just don't know what was going on. Player after player taking timings, and Liquid caught sleeping at the wheel while all of this goes on.
Enemy remaining.
The 1 versus 1 picked up by Westside in the end, and that's such an early momentum swing for GX to find.
Brings himself straight back into this. TeamLiquid Academy now at a disadvantage. And again, I spoke about it there, has it? TeamLiquid Academy had the same issues yesterday against Foot, and understand, tier 1 side, you're going to get punished more, but you have to do better than that. That's a nice shot from Rex, though.
Yeah, good start. Trading bullets with Westside, dropped down to 10 points of health. But it's such a pertinent conversation to be having about this Liquid team. With it being in the early stages in comparison to GX, you'd often question how they are able to turn things around from being on the back foot. But in that foot game specifically, pun not intended, it was almost like 3 8-4 halves that they ended up walking into. So honestly, I have to say, I've been quite impressed with their determination so far. And here is an opportunity. Just 2 players on the A site.
Well, nothing to lose do TeamLiquid Academy have on this round, considering the economy. Cloud, though, can't put the players down in front of them. So a 4-2 advantage, TeamLiquid Academy are ready to retort.
Yeah, it's happening again. Ara has the refract, needs to find something here, and denied.
Yeah, forced back. Flickless, though, does only get one of the low players. The last 2 remaining for GiantX want to try and drop out Heaven, but there's a player below, it's Prox. His classic getting to work. So a 2 versus 1 now. Rex low, and already hitting a Marshall shot. Ara now within 1 bullet, 2 bullet range realistically.
Wow.
And it's TeamLiquid Academy to respond in kind with a thrifty of their own.
Back-to-back thrifty rounds to start off the first map in this series. And, I mean, when you felt like it was a huge opportunity for GX to kick on, the tempo changes once again. And there is another twist to the start of this second semi-final. I have to say, I like some of the util combos from GX on the way back through there. Feels like their micro is always up to scratch. But on the whole, Liquid get the better of the fight. Can they fully harness this opportunity to go a couple rounds in front?
Presence shown, A main through the KO flash. Didn't know how many audibles was held by Cloud, but A main already looking to be clear. GiantX already looking to try and rotate from B to A to reinforce this position. That's now, what, 3 rounds in a row that we've seen from TeamLiquid Academy finish here?
But look at the rotations from GX. They were ready for this because of their deep dive on B. The numbers are here, and the pistols are landing shots. Surely not again! Cloud with a couple. Grubby also involved, and in on the act. What? He will double up as well. And oh my god! 3 thrifty rounds in a row to kick off Abyss.
Yeah, buy 1, get 1 free, and I mean, throw another one in on top, it seems. I can't believe what we're seeing right now, is both teams, whenever they get the buy, just seem to crumble. I don't think GiantX will allow that to happen a second time round. There is a couple of rifles in the mix for TeamLiquid Academy. Lovely shots all in. Finally, we're going to get a break from the conditioning from TeamLiquid Academy. as he send players towards the B site.
A main and area on Abyss, which lots of teams will begin their attacking defaults by fighting for. And it is a real change of pace as well for Mystic on Initiator, not a role we've seen much of from him in the past. Rex with another opening kill though, and he often does act as the lurk in these situations on the double controller, creating that pressure, and Westside gets overwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit lackadaisical. This is the kind of story of the round so far, and now GiantX are looking to brawl into the pistols. And they do get the advantage off the back of it. It's gone fleeting, ready to wrestle it back though. Now we look towards the lone tail of Mystic towards B.
And he knows at the very least he can get a plant off here, as Rex did early work to drag players out of position. There was a couple of rifles brought into this round for Liquid Academy, and Mystic has one of them in the 2v1. As you can see, GX want to play this smart and by the numbers. They stick together and group up back through Link.
Well, the drone hasn't given Mystic any information to play off of. Does have one salvo, but the rifle most important. Grubby comes straight out and decapitates Mystic. He was low himself, looking for Flickless to trade off of him in the worst case scenario. But it will end up with GiantX winning the round.
Just making sure that additional weaponry in middle can be saved here. On the GX side, it's an op which Grubby has managed to recover. And so they take the lead for the first time in this game after being on the back foot, round on round, taking their chances but not fully converting them. You like what Liquid are trying to do, but this is then where Westside makes a problem of himself. The more prevalent we see the operator here from the chamber, the more difficult it's going to get for Liquid to swing things back.
It really is. Liquid Academy are going to have to, I guess, be a little better in how they're trading, which is not something we're often used to seeing.
Set piece from the barriers again. This time it's the contact of both Westside on B. An arrow towards A, where the Rolling Thunder was prepared. But full focus on B right now as Liquid do start to scale into what looks like a full execute.
The drone identifying where the chamber is. There's no TP out, and they're going to respect this. The ultimate from the wheelie, not good enough to deny Grubby from trying to get on towards the angle, and he is able to get the entry here.
And Wanzero couldn't path correctly, couldn't get on top of the box. It's bought time, and GX are here.
Yeah, that's the R. Now 3 bodies strong, and Grubby the one who's continuing to feature in the kill feed. GX now having to try and dodge the ultimates that is being thrown by Team Liquid Academy. And in the end, they end up 3 players to the good, with just Mystic having to clutch up a second round in a row.
Liquid Academy invested 2 big ults into this on both the Waylay and the Teho, but it's not come up with the result that they were looking for. GX, on the other hand, very sparing in terms of the ults that they were willing to use, none of them in fact, and now hold a full house, almost a monopoly into the follow-up. Huge round for them to win as well, because it was a full rifle between both teams. It's another eco. Having finally broken that trend.
And the big thing about GiantX is they're not crazy when it comes to like strategy, right? They're not crazy when it comes to macro. They're very much a 4-4-2 straightforward Valorant team.
Okay.
And like, for the most part here, I think this is probably the most they've strayed away from their traditional compositions in terms of it's usually like KO or Breach, Silver Fade, like, and then the rest, Bob's your uncle, like whether it's Brim on Bind or like blah blah blah, you get the idea. But the point that I wanted to make here is that GiantX aren't doing anything incredible in these rounds. They're just shooting better, they're trading off one another, and that's always been the strengths of this roster.
Yeah, I guess when you compare the two then, as we were talking about contrasts earlier, similarities is always having a good macro foundation. It felt like Cloud, even at the start of the year, when the team wasn't succeeding, still called them into decent positions.
Yes.
It was just a synergy between the players that was falling short. Liquid, on the other hand, yeah, they've also had that foundation. It's also about their own individuals and getting the most value from them, because we know that at times there were rosters that could counter their style, especially in the first Challengers EMEA events of the year. Pistols out again for them here, and it's the same opening from GX.
Nice flash in, but there's also a combination here looking to be used, and the players of TeamLiquid Academy trying to escape, but it's Cloud who comes right through and gets the kills that GiantX need to win this round. A flawless in the end. Ara stealing Cloud's ace. Up to 5 or GiantX.
Really nice from GiantX. A vintage piece from their strat book. We know they love the rehearsed openings, and I think that's the real addition that has brought them up into being a champions representing roster for EMEA in Paris, of course, earlier this year. Quite a lot to put in up against an eco, though, so both teams still left with 3 ults as we go into the next rifle. And an opportunity which Liquid cannot afford to miss. Their attack side on Abyss yesterday did struggle against Foot.
I would have to agree. Now through mid, we see Ara getting a deep deposit. A position commonly played, made popular by DRX, believe it or not, all the way back in when Abyss first came out, back in Champ Soul, if you remember correctly, has it, I believe it was.
Yeah, we saw 11 do a lot of this in EMEA with BBL in kickoff last year.
Yeah.
This year, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's been a long year.
It has been. And Ara now looking to continue forward. I mean, the timing's sensational.
Wow.
And the support even better. Is Cloud able to get one of his own? But there is a trade through Rex. And a 4 versus 2. How do you try and bring this one back?
Yeah, I mean, that is the question for Liquid Academy, because it's not the first time we've seen them look a little bit static sometimes in the mid-round, and I don't know whether that's to do with Mystic stepping into IGL for the first time, or just the team trying to build up a little bit more cohesion with one another when they're not given what they want. Ara takes so much time before he eventually looks for that peak, and it ends up working out perfectly. Liquid maybe even just opt to save here, considering how the last few rounds have been. When you go back-to-back thrifty round, whoever comes out on top in the end does tend to profit massively from those exchanges.
So with time ticking away, you can see
10 seconds left.
that TeamLiquid Academy are happy to concede 6. The timeout from Bacon, not one that's proven to garner results, but again, impressed by GiantX and what they want to do round to round. That's something we haven't seen from Ara before, the fact that he wanted to walk all the way down mid.
Yeah. And it's a threat which Liquid Academy will have to be aware of. I mean, already GX have shown multiple different ways that they can use and abuse the lanes on the map and create pressure, which Liquid are forced to respond to. Wondering what their answer is. We see a mixed investment here as the Stinger comes out for 1-0. You're expecting a quick execution, and with the Teho and the KO as well, you have the tools to put that in motion.
Just a Soul Omen on the A site. Sure, we can see Cloud immediately come back into the site if needed. He's been probably the most strongest player that we've seen from GiantX in terms of being able to grab those kills, as Cloud looks to play as in an anti-position, anti-flash, but not one that provides any value. You can see Westside want to take his timing, but it's Prox at the top of site, as well as GSR, that is holding things down. GiantX trying to force things a little bit too much, and that's going to allow for TeamLiquid Academy to get a flawless round.
A great use of the null command on entry to the site there as well. Really repressing what GX were able to do. You have a decision to make. Do you fight to hold the site, or do you play for a retake? Especially when it's just Grubby there and he wants to TP out. But Cloud getting caught in transition does make things really awkward for them. And it's exactly the kind of round which Liquid Academy needed. You're seeing how much influence players like GSR can have on these rounds when they get involved. A slow start for Mystic as well on a new role. It can always be so taxing playing Initiator as the in-game leader at times.
Yeah, and it's just not working out. Obviously, later into the veto, things could completely change. Westside managing to dodge the 0-point knife.
Have Ara here as what was the sole anchor of B, as the rotation has been called. And GX now flashing into this. Flickless finds no information. And actually, this Liquid creep continues to encroach on the B site with the ult committed. You can see It is Flickless forced out of position. Ara goes down, and on re-entry, death on arrival. 5 versus 3 for Liquid Academy. Looks like GiantX still want to give this a go.
Yeah, 3 players now combining in towards CT. There's not much in terms of ultimates, and having to retake with a tour de force will be awkward.
The double smokes for Liquid as well, just locking GX out of line of sight. Great util combo in the new box to just rid 1-0 off position. Grubby doubling up, in fact, and now just one man down. GX still fancying themselves to win this round, and it's Grubby who was the spearhead. Eventually blunted, Liquid back within range. Another important round, just as much as the last for them to win.
Fantastic. Getting closer. Could we see another 8-4 scoreline has it on the horizon? I mean, what was 2 of yesterday? What the last one being like 7-5 in favor of Team Liquid?
That was exactly it. The Liquid special, I suppose, but as long as you win the map at the end of the tunnel, then it matters not.
The map at the end of the tunnel, is that a common
Well,
phrase?
look, I don't know. You do have a few maps with different tunnels and such. You don't want to bring back Breeze, do you?
Oh god, please don't. Lord. To the heavens above is where Prox is going to be going as Westside kicks things off perfectly with his operator. A couple of pings going out to identify exactly where that chamber was.
Ooh.
So now Ara tries to be proactive himself, combining with Cloud. It's Ara who does get the kill.
Very instinctive on those timings, Ara. It's the second time now he's walked up with the support of Cloud and managed to find a kill. Spike should have also flashed up on the radar, so Liquid being very cautious about how they choose to reclaim this space, so much so that the stealth drone is invested. And that's really the primary tool for taking ground for Liquid, something they so often use for A main. Mystic face checking, and Ara is spotted.
Yeah, and he's happy to give up the space, but it does create a question mark as to whether that Whaley is still in A main round the corner or is elsewhere. The reclear from Cloud denied by Mystic, so he might have a better idea of the image.
And in terms of the plan creation, it's really difficult here for Liquid as they've already dropped a whole host of members and are now forced into an execute with their hands tied. Westside getting another. A 2 versus 5 on the table if they can get past here.
It's a big if. I mean, the Spike has managed to get into a successful position to be planted, and it will be attempted. So 2 versus 5 now as the players try to come back in, but it's good util. It's all up to Mystic, which he won't even get a chance at, has it? And GiantX take the advantage into the next half.
At the very least, it will be 7 rounds, but we've already teased the possibility of another 8-4. Flawless conversion just keeps the money good as GX haven't been forced onto an eco yet, and I think that's where Liquid really failed to make the most of the early pendulum swing between the two. 5 rounds consecutive that have set up this defender's side. It's all through Ara yet again, though, that we find ourselves in this position.
I mean, he seems to be like sometimes the sole win condition that GiantX play off.
And I find it interesting too that we are getting the Waylay coming out from him as well, because it's another agent which he's added to his pool, showing a bit more depth. We know he didn't have that kind of comfort on, say, a Yoru, for example. And here already, advanced position in mid as Liquid look for this backstab, and it's snuffed out.
Yeah, this is really, really nice. Grabinho just holding on and being well aware of what's going on, but it's the elsewhere you've got to be worried about. Heaven, for instance, where that Whaley ultimate did go down. And even on top of that, you can see now Team Liquid Academy wanting to hold on to this vent space.
Yeah, nice expansive control for Liquid Academy here. A good post plant, and with a molly to just stop the cross. GX have work to do, but combos to try and unlock this.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going for, to open things up. Rex, though, lucky to be alive. The flash almost working in favour. Unbelievable stuff as the players work together. GSR now, what do you have? Not enough to win out the round. GiantX will get 8.
I think you're also seeing the difference here between a team playing their best roles, and one which has had to make changes to accommodate others, because while Prox is now stepping back into controller, the Omen, which we know him to have played on Mates, having picked Initiator up in this offseason, you're also seeing Mystic then suffering at the same time. That's the cost that they've paid. On the GX side, I mean, this is fantastic. Cloud, we said he was a little bit behind on the meta read at the start of the year, but the way the Teho has worked its way into this team eventually, second to none.
Back to a pistol round. And GiantX win this. I mean, hopefully we don't get the same antics we did in the first half, but they should be up to double digits.
Yeah, you'd really hope not with the caster predictions on the line and all of that as well.
Please.
For the sake of the extended studio. Liquid winning the pistol in the last, of course. They desperately need this one, but Ara's gone overlooked. Doesn't quite seize the opportunity at the first time of asking, but walking away with two is a positive exchange for the attack.
Yeah, Prox able to at least keep his life though, so the Omen up and available to drop smokes when and where needed. And there is obviously Grubby, who's taken a bit of damage as well. Same time though, TeamLiquid Academy, they look elsewhere.
Ooh, middle, and Westside nails the shot. The head of Prox peeking out. And not long for this world. GSR can still find a timing through middle here, potentially. I think Westside is aware of it.
So the spike down.
Spike planted.
GSR hopes to try and catch Westside off guard. The first Headhunter bullet has signalled a warning shot, but the rest of GiantX are looking to collapse upon this. And in the end, it ends up easy. So Mystic once again left alone to deal with a 1 versus X, and one which he will not be successful in. And I feel really bad for Mystic because his 1vx stat line will probably be in the mud, but he is usually left as the last alive player.
I mean, he was there to save them so many times before, and I have to say, at the very least, the defender-sided calling does look a lot more natural for him. You can see the re-clear in mid was attempted, but a player down, Westside punishes. And to give credit to GX here and what they were able to do, you don't see it on screen, but the two players jumping from danger, both Cloud and Flickless, to pick up the pieces and alleviate some of that pressure on the backline is really nice.
So smoke put down in A main to stop GiantX moving through and perhaps being caught off guard, and it has stalled them out for a little moment. And you can see the defense buzzing like bees, seeing if they can try and find anything in the lanes.
And the early positioning from 1-0 is the only real headline here for Liquid, but it has allowed them to lean a much heavier stack towards A. GX are still in the process of figuring out where they want to finish here, though, and Grubby all round long has been holding incredibly passive from the attack spawn pillar. It'll be just a moment before 1-0 collects this information, but what can he possibly do with it? Ooh, finds a kill,
yeah,
but doesn't get out.
And I mean, I think honestly, you're just happy with that kill, right? At this point in time, we're expecting TeamLiquid Academy to be looking at damage. Sure, they were able to win a 50 round earlier, but being on the attack is a different set of circumstances from being on the defense and retaking.
GX should be expecting the players here as well. As soon as you see 1-0 that deep, you know the response is there, and Liquid now in position for retake.
And sending utility through now as they try and use the smokes to their advantage. Oh, and unfortunately, it will not work out. So only one kill in the mix. GiantX to what we expected, double digits, and probably has we're looking at a home run now.
Yeah, man, Ara pocketing these kills on Liquid players. It's got them hanging off his waist like a Labubu at this point.
Jeez.
But I have to say, if Liquid can't win this next round, then you really do start to get worried. I mean, taking a step back and looking at the rest of the best of three, of course, this is GX's pick, but there did feel like a sense of parity between the teams on this one at the very least.
With that, GiantX's double digits should be enough to now slowly push this one to the finish line. That's what we expect, especially with a strong bonus round. But in terms of taking the onus on the round yourself, GiantX pretty slow so far, Hazza.
Drone going out.
It's now 30 seconds in, though, where Mystic starts to engage, waits a second for the smoke, but then catches wind of what GX are doing. Drones traded in middle. It actually looks like Liquid might have a view to challenge this head-on. GSR flashing in underhand. Ara takes on plenty of damage and just can't manage the brunt of it in the end. Great smash and grab from Liquid, gives them numbers into the late round.
So with Prox taking that kill in mid, he returns towards A and B3 strong. GiantX are going to put the spike towards B main, but there is players about to put pressure on Mystic here.
GX saw the numbers from B-Link. They should have a rough idea of what it is, the threat in front of them. A split push is prepared, and Flickless' stun plays an important piece in how this is set up, but actually, Cloud has managed to find timing. Already into connector.
Ooh.
Liquid fighting forwards onto the main players, though, and it's through GSR again that results come. Cloud is going to pick up one kill at the very least, but it just doesn't feel like there's enough time to make this a possibility. Westside another, keeps it in the realms.
Oh.
And is looking to secure the plant, just about has enough time to get it in, but the paranoia leaves him blind and dead. So Liquid get what they were looking for.
Yeah, can't convert to the bonus round, can GiantX. So we're within 5. It's going to be a long road for recovery for Team Liquid Academy. And looking at the ultimates here, it is going to be a few more rounds before we start to see that momentum shift firmly in favour of defence.
GSR starting to show up in this map as well, warming into the game as it goes on. Liquid starting the better of the two teams in their game yesterday, and GX, of course, winning 2-0, but not without the trials and tribulations of a triple OT on map 2.
Can see GiantX a little bit scared of what Team Liquid Academy want to do in terms of taking the fight to them, and it's wasting a little bit of time.
Yeah, incredibly passive, but they do have the tools to punish, and it's that classic Liquid style that we'd seen from the Academy in the past. Drone will have been heard from mid-link. So GX now grouping up to take this B site with the Waylay ult. It's Flickless to find first, though, and it is GSR that goes down.
Yeah, that's a little awkward, to be honest. That's not a fight you wanted to go the way of GiantX, because that's a big flash, and delay coming through the Waylay ultimate as Rex tries to pop out the smoke, and it's really easy in the end. It's just target practice. So Spike goes down, and 3 players to advantage towards GiantX.
Yeah, it looks like Liquid wanted to get the better of the timing there on the Waylay ult after it hit no targets, instead of playing what would have been a 4 versus 5 retake. And now you understand the reasons for it. You want to create a little bit of chaos as GX are setting themselves. But it is the decision which ultimately ends up costing them. And now up to 11 rounds, the gap again increases. And you do start to lose faith in Liquid turning this one around, Cairo.
Yeah, there is a little bit of loss of faith. You can't help but feel that. And that's a sad reality to be in.
I guess the question is, right, is this just the decision-making for Liquid more than anything else? Because it does feel like that right now, honestly, that maybe they're just a step behind a GX, which, as we know, has had the time on not just the second stage of EMEA, but Champions as well, to figure out what it is that they do as a team, as a unit, as a group.
Yeah, I would have to agree, Haz. I feel as if, like, this really does feel like a decisiveness, I guess, as well, and maybe just like the fact that Team Liquid Academy are a little bit disjointed, and we spoke about this yesterday, right? They were at points disjointed, and that's what Foot were able to punish a lot of the time.
Last chance saloon for Liquid Academy on this round, perhaps. 11-5 as it stands. And GX will threaten further economy damage with a win here. Pressure bubbling in mid again, about to overflow as the flash comes in. Cloud taking the timing ahead of the curve, and Westside's right beside him. Arrow as well. Everyone on GX with their part to play. Building towards 2026. You can see the foundations of this team in practice. And Liquid with plenty to answer for now if they want to turn it around.
I think Team Liquid Academy, they're going to use the last time out here as we go through the replays. But, I mean, overall, it just doesn't look like yesterday. It doesn't look like the same, I guess, appetite for the opponent that they're playing against. And I don't know if that's maybe they feel a little bit awkward on Abyss now. Yesterday didn't go the best either. You know, they're up against GiantX, who are good in their own right. It is GiantX's pick as well. So there's a lot of things at play here. Maybe just a warm-up. But the one thing that's true is it's just not good enough.
Yeah, I guess you can say that, right? But where do you then place the bar for this Liquid Academy team? Because they've already come into the tournament, beat 2 Turkish teams, 3 of the best VCT, or not the best VCT teams, 3 VCT teams, including BBL.
Yeah.
Within their own circuit, that would be considered the top dog. A GX side from champs, is it just a step too far?
I think it could be. It is only map 1 in a best of 3. But we saw the same thing with Navi the other day, right? The fact that the kind of GiantX won the first map pretty decently, then Navi fell away in that second. Ended up being a very quick 2-0, but I think that's the thing that Team Liquid Academy need to be prepared for. Can they bounce back? Because many a time in the Challengers circuit did we see them fall away when it came to a little bit of adversity thrown in their position.
This, of course, is a completely different kettle of fish, and whichever way you spin it, GX have impressed. 1-0 himself in days gone by, but today in the semi-final, it doesn't seem to be the kind of appearance he'd be looking for. GX starting to go through the motions, and Liquid just can't move the needle. Ara still going and not stopping.
Be right back.
Blow after blow. 3 already on the round. Denied the ace before from Cloud. And might just be looking for one of his own here. Rest of Liquid walking back in. Prox picking up 1 at the very least. But GX on the warpath now.
Yeah, I mean, there is a flank coming through from Cloud in mid, so Team Liquid Academy need to be careful.
All of the win conditions set up. The util belt emptied from Mystic. Still no result as it sits 4v2. Cloud arrives on the scene with impeccable timing as ever. 13-5. GiantX draw first blood in the...
If they are going to have the same approach to Eternal Fire, what do you guys think about agent select in general here? Obviously, Team Liquid Academy, you're expecting that Sage. Do we see any differences? I think they just have to go back to basics, right? Do what they do. They're bread and butter on this map.
Yeah, it's way too late in the competition to be changing stuff now, especially when you're a map down. You want to go back to what you can rely on, and we're seeing that come on through. We've talked about the fact that there's going to be no clashes here, which is nice.
And I'm double checking here as well. Obviously, GiantX as well won't really have any issues when they head into a map 3. I don't believe Team Liquid Academy will as well. But Team Liquid Academy have been avoiding Haven actually, so they have to go to a map 3, which is even crazier now that I think about it. But yeah, I don't get any changes on the GX side. My hope though is that I kind of want to see Aura or even Westside, even though he's on the Killjoy, still pick up that operator. Because to me, I could see that being a counter to 1-0, who actually is on the Yoru. That's been the one blender draft change they do make sometimes, is between the Yoru and the Neon. And it's very flexible both ways.
I mean, they've got 100% win rate on both, so.
Yeah, true.
Happy to see Mystic back on the Astra. No funky physics here.
This will be a big one, I think, is that we talked about the 1-for-1 for Cupid, right? And that statistically it hasn't changed much. So I'm thinking that going back to an agent that we know that not only is he comfortable on, we did see slight improvement on stats with this change. Yeah. This could be really good because I think it was like 1-16 on round 17 is you really, like point blank, you can't be having that.
Prox 2, the Fade is crazy. I remember the BBL Corrode, that was like a 13-5. He's very fluid, very comfortable on that role.
Do believe we're ready to call into our casters. One fan of Norwich, one fan of Celtic. So both interested in seeing fights to the death. Let's see who makes it to the grand final. It's Hazard and Kara to take you through the second map.
Hey, look, you've set me up quite nicely because while your team is facing defeats in Europe, we actually won today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How did QPR get on?
I don't know, Ryan. How did QPR get on? Doesn't matter. Anyway, what we're looking at, of course, is Liquid Academy on their own map pick now, facing a GX side, which everyone on paper would very much expect to be in that grand final. I think when you just look at the consistency that they have, the performances on the run-up to champs and now thereafter, it's an obvious choice. But for Liquid, with some soul searching to do between maps. I have to say, we've seen them look good on Pearl in the past. Is this what we need for them to turn things around, the role change?
Yeah, I mean, perhaps it is. I think for me right now, TeamLiquid Academy, I think they just need to get their individuals online. I think that's the big thing here. I don't think it's necessarily a roles thing. Well, with that being said, it was 1-0 who was probably one of the biggest highlights for TeamLiquid Academy last time out, in the way that he was able to play that Euro. His timing, impeccable. There is no Sova to try and counteract. Oh, there is a Sova, actually. I'm talking nonsense, but it's all about those drones and how they try and clear out 1-0.
It's all good. I think to build on what you were saying, at least, about the individuals, they are going to perform better on the agents of their selection. And so with 1-0 already on the board, prowling down Belong as he so often did, haunting the nightmares of Foot yesterday. GX forced to respond early. They have matched this rotation, sorry.
Yeah, that they have. Well, with that smoke dropping, they're matching in terms of the kills right now as they keep themselves in front. GSR still the one to do so. Heal not up for another 15 seconds, and Grubby is on this flank. Something that TeamLiquid Academy should expect.
Reposition in back halls, though, means that at least the first on GSR should be easy.
One enemy remaining.
And it is. So now we look towards Rex, who his timing impeccable. Will win the pistol round, and we'll hope for no more repeats than what we saw on Abyss.
Yeah, to remind those who are maybe just tuning into this second semi-final of the day, of course we saw 3 Thrifties traded between the two before GX took an 8-4 lead into that second half. Something which Liquid Academy were on the receiving end of a couple of times yesterday. Strong start though, the question is, can it get any better? It's exactly what they need to do here on Pearl if things are to go their way. Channel a little bit of momentum. You didn't really see any of it on Abyss.
Yeah, we didn't see a whole bunch. Came in spells, but we need to see if that can be consistent here. As TeamLiquid Academy, rather than being on Abyss, where they were pretty straightforward, pretty direct, decided to take things a little bit slower.
We did get a couple of default rounds from them, but the issue really remained to be not Rex finding picks. He was good at that, but more importantly, having their arm bent by what it is that GX wanted to enact through their own proactivity. This time it's more of a stack through middle towards B. 3 players here, but Rex has found another, and that has turned the tide for the favor of Liquid.
Yeah, 2 players stacked up for GiantX in lane, trying to see if they can find the timing themselves, but that wall going to make things difficult.
GX looked like they wanted to rotate off of that kill, and it's the one that they pick up towards spawn which has made things a little better. GSR having walled off both Ara and Cloud. This works quite nicely for the defenders who will be looking to die to the spike.
Yeah, we'll work out with them happily taking things, and something that TeamLiquid Academy like to do is they like to give one person a pistol at least and send them out, but 1-0. That wall's about to break, mate.
Last player standing.
And so there is a quick 1-for-1, but Cloud should be fine here. Is he going to manage to pick up Rex? Yes, he is. So another exit on the way out. And surely not given an opportunity to find one more. That could have been costly for Liquid Academy. But they will convert the anti-eco this time.
They will. And on top of that, only really the Outlaw lost with Rex on the pistol, on the Sheriff. So again, that bonus round, as we always look to, having a bit of bite around those teeth being sharpened by adding in the rifle that Rex has just bought.
Liquid's ambitions for their academy, of course, developing these players in the hopes that they can rise to the main roster at some point in their career. Creating a competitive environment for themselves. And so far, we're starting to see a little better of that. Mid, the point of focus for the attack side on this round, as GX have already taken A main control.
Yeah, also taking Arc control. West side traded out there. Rifle still kept. The players now embed themselves within mid.
See, GX should be happy to give up this space because of the positioning of Ara in A main as well. Rez comes through onto Rex. Liquid with 5 players, and whichever site they choose to go towards, they can overwhelm.
They can, and A, the more stricken of the two.
But look at this extremity control also taken by Grubby in the meantime. So now GX, whichever site is hit, have deep presence that is going to be difficult for Liquid to try and clear out.
Well, the Prowler held, and it's all about Ara and what time he activates as the KO. So we can see deep. He's taking his time coming back in. So with that spike down, TeamLiquid Academy clear out A main, and this post plan gets ever stronger. At least Flickless one back in the conversation.
Flickless just has to play the time here and get the rest of the GX members involved, but as that time bank is bought into, there is another flank coming in from Liquid Academy.
Yeah, another layer to try and deal with if you're GiantX. It's GSR, though, who gets cleared out by Grubby, so the numbers now a little bit thinner, and Flickless, the player to make them even worse. And then you see the spike plant, it's actually not for Prox, who is so deep.
Full stick.
It's just going to be easy as that in the end. Maybe a little bit too complicated in the way that round was constructed for TeamLiquid Academy. And they completely miss out on the opportunity to win there.
Yeah, look, I don't know if I agree with the complicated phrasing, but what I will say is that it's a huge missed opportunity for Liquid Academy. That is a fact. GSR does miss out on the timing a little bit here. I mean, his positioning solo in Art is somewhat questionable, I suppose. Prox had the right idea, but there was just not enough time bought for him to win the round. It's an early timeout, but it's Pipson that scored it.
Yeah, I mean, the fact you think of that last round, right? GiantX shouldn't have won it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
If we're being completely real with one another, it should not have been a GiantX round. TeamLiquid Academy should be 3-0. And obviously Pipson just not happy with what he's seen so far.
I mean, look, people have been critical in the past of Pipson's use of timeouts, lack of use, I think it would be fair to say. But it is clear that he has something to say here, as that duo between him and Cloud is ultimately the one thing that has remained true since GX sort of became GX from the time that we saw with them as Giants in 2023 and what was left of that original Champions run. It's the backbone of this roster, and in terms of what it is that they change up, well, they're fighting for A main again. Little difference in that respect.
Yeah, it's a nice flash though. And something that we've seen from TeamLiquid Academy a few times is they're happy to send in the Yoru to try and take the space. And if they contact any utility, a TP out.
For Liquid, this is one of those rounds that they've previously struggled to digest when early questions have been asked of them and they need to come up with a solution. Wanting to force the issue and clear out Ara, but he gets two! Sprays through the bodies of Rex and Wanzeru. GSR the only one to put it to a stop, and you wonder how close he is towards the res. It's not close enough.
Yeah, I mean, what, you need 3 kills plus a spike plant. Not really going to happen in this round, let's be honest, considering the body's still alive for GiantX at this point. Flickless providing a distraction for Cloud to activate, and that's spike in no man's land.
Another one of those rounds where Liquid Academy back to the wall. Don't know what it is they have to do, what they need to change to fix things for themselves. GSR ever consistent in the feed. But Flickless finds his man, and so Mystic has a 1 versus 3. No clutches for him today. And GX back on terms.
All even. It's exactly like Abyss, right? In that sense, the fact that TeamLiquid Academy were the ones to go ahead in the initial round, but after that, it was GiantX to really come back into it, and Pipson finding the ability to rally his players into what they need to do. So, all even once again as we head into the 5th round so far of map number 2.
Quite clearly, GX see the value that getting Ara in these more aggressive positions can find. We saw that on Abyss as well, with the amount of times he was confident to just walk up. Revealing area. From the Liquid perspective, starting out on the attack again, They only did that once yesterday. It has been a real difficulty for them so far. Wanzero with some extended presence on B. Cloud's got to be careful here.
Yeah, I completely missed out. Like ships in the night knows, Cloud does look to go towards CT for a moment, but he is wrapping all the way around. Engagement's happening all over the map, and Rex getting another one onto Flickless. Cloud not considering the Yo route, and that site unlocked.
Brilliant work from Liquid Academy. Oh, Rex needed that one though. It's allowed a chance for them to get back in here between Westside and Grubby.
Yeah, but at the same time, Rex did part with a lot of damage. Nice work from Grubby. Puts this into contention because 1-0 is down to 60 points of health. A TP to long and Westside doubts it. Still distracted by CT, but as he looks towards that position, 1-0 will activate, finding the thrifty round.
So much confidence flowing through Wanzero for him to stick the TP there. Had almost a full belt, but just the one TP is what he needed. Great work from Rex again, I have to say, in these mid-duels with the Sheriff, but also, of course, Wanzero finding his timing as he has been able to do so successfully so many times over the last couple of days. Liquid in the lead. And the difference is, this time after all of those ecos traded, they are the ones in front.
There's only a Guardian on GiantX, even though they have so many ultimates to back this up, one of which has been used, the overdrive of Ara, and they did clear all of A main, and Team Liquid Academy may be feeling a bit pushed to execute here, Hazza.
Yeah, but the overdrive out of play, just the pistols on the retake. Liquid have put a wedge between the two teams.
Well, a cosmic divide of their own for GiantX is going to be a real issue.
Yeah, and they've not been able to plant here either, Liquid, so they've lost a lot of that space that they were holding on to.
So GiantX with the tools to come back in here, and one of which is actually going to be the Hunter's Fury early on, and it's GiantX to fill the kill feed. You can see GSR trying his best, but Rex is the one who comes out on top. Two of his own, leaves just GSR with it all to do. A heal and a res. That's what he has to try and be the difference maker, and instead identify Cloud with that Guardian we spoke about earlier, winning out the round and bringing us all even once again.
The Cosmic Divide looked to have been perfect to give Liquid Academy some breathing room, but as soon as GX get in position, they're right behind it, they use the util, they stall it out, and that advantage is gone. The burst back onto the site with the Hunter's Fury here is fantastic.
Yeah,
and as good as GSR and Rex have been in those, 2vx situations all year long, this one's just too much for them.
I thought GSR would have at least attempted a res. If you look towards that elbow, there's two dead bodies for Liquid to try and use, but I mean, that's if buts and maybes,
exactly.
And we deal in definites.
Absolute. As we do. 3-all, and another eco round win, this time for GX. These teams just love winning with less. Ara will have heard the TP skirt past him as 1-0 is inserted in the pit early. The stun drops, and he'll give up the ground.
So with the players now looking to head on down, the operator finding actually the clone, not the player. It will be Flickless, and there is a trade out, a shake of the hands, and that Cosmic Divide will allow GX to bring their downed man back up.
It doesn't allow Liquid to chase up the site here at all either. The player in a position where you need to take A before that res is a possibility here for Liquid. That's if GSR's still alive when they get in.
It's been two ultimates to bring one player back online for GiantX in a way. The null command used, and then the Cosmic Divide. But the rifles of GiantX can't seem to miss at this point in time. They've been almost perfect so far, and the way that they've been playing off one another. That leaves just Rex in a 1 versus 3. Individually superb, but he'll need to go one step further, and he can't. Ara gets the last kill, and GiantX the advantage.
Back in front, and doing all of the right things in this round. Liquid, when they can't take up their initial game plan, it feels like they're really struggling to change things up. A great reposition close from Cloud on the orbit of the smoke.
30 seconds left.
And the question is, when do we get a Liquid timeout? Because we only had one on the GX side so far. Those 60 seconds to try and improve things. I have to say, they've already got 3 rounds on the attack. A few more here, and you're probably fairly happy on the side swap.
Oh, it's just unfortunate. Mystic not getting a chance as Grubby spams through the smoke, knowing that there's probably going to be a luck there. But
Ooh.
GSR's Sheriff has found one of its own.
Really heating up now, GSR. Such a win condition for this Liquid side, and the one player out of the 5 that you would say has the most potential to make that jump up to VCT when he becomes eligible in August, a year or so's time from now.
I think as well, he's been fairly well kept a secret. For those who don't know, right, for the wider community
Sure.
at this point in time, Ara trying to be the secret that could potentially upset TeamLiquid as they try to get through main. The operator not dissuaded by the flash. And you can see GiantX just wanting to continuously fight, even just a thrifty round.
Yeah, nothing covert about this for GX, but Liquid have taken good ground here onto the site, looking for a plant and actually just full sticking it instead of searching for anything more.
Yeah, but it's not really planted for main. This post plant can be awkward considering that spike plant though, Hazard.
And the lockdown as well. Look at this, in from Flowers. It's going to be used, but actually it doesn't really affect the players considering where it's opted to be invested.
Yeah, they're going to have to go and fully swing onto the spike as well. They try to do it early. It does net them at least 1 kill.
2 versus 2 situation. Liquid want to fight this back out the smoke.
Nice flash, but even better rifle work. West side is the one to finish the round. GiantX, I think that's again, we said it in the first map coming into it, the biggest advantage and the biggest compliment is always about their team play.
Yeah, the micro looks excellent if the macro wasn't already good enough to start. Bringing things together here as they give themselves a 2-round cushion. I have to say, Ara, again, influencing play with this op. The A-main fights have been so key. Liquid, for what it's worth, on the eco do decent damage. And they managed to get ults out of GX as well. But here is the timeout that we were talking about to just give a few extra seconds to Bacon on what plans he will be coming up with here.
Yeah, says the second timeout actually used in this map so far. The first one from Pipson after 3 rounds. So Bacon getting his second chance to talk to his players.
And it's like I was saying, it feels like Liquid is struggling most when things go off script. So I'm wondering what it is that Bacon can actually provide from this position, how much he can help his team. We know that one of his strengths has always been as an analyst going back, reviewing and whatnot. This his first real test as a coach from his background on the Liquid staff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You've got to think of like the test that he had yesterday against Guys, for instance, right? A coach that he's not faced up in against in a long time. Pipson, another folk will remember that it was all the way back when Bacon was still on Liquid 2023, if I remember correctly. 2024, was he still there in 2024?
Well, he's sort of been there the whole time working in the background, right?
Yeah, you get the idea.
Oh, right, just against Pipson in general. I thought there was a match or something.
No, the point that I was making was more the fact that Bacon's been around. He's played against these coaches. He knows exactly how to go up against them.
Sure.
And I think maybe these Tier 1 games actually does favour him in a way because he is so used to playing against these styles of coaches.
You love him, man. You love him.
I don't actually.
That's a shocker. GX queued up here to halt this art push from Liquid Academy on the rifle. Such an imperative round for them to pick up and even push to the pistols. Grubby is there at backside as a safe pair of hands. A 1 versus 4 for Prox. You just don't entertain it at this point in time. You were talking of individuals in the build-up, but we're yet to see that star-studded moment which have given Liquid liftoff.
That's what has been the difference maker from TeamLiquid Academy every single time is the individuals show up, the young guns, the players that you want to see for the future, giving you a glimpse of what they could promise this internationally stricken region. Let's be honest, EMA have reached grand finals, but it's the future that we look towards to perhaps win those trophies. And with TeamLiquid Academy having the future in
10
their
seconds
hands, looks like at this moment in time, GiantX perhaps got a bright future of their own.
As we were speaking yesterday, even of the experience that Mystic has racked up here, now taking on the challenge of in-game leader for the first time after partnering up with names including Yampi, Nats, and Boaster, of course. He's been on champion stages, but so have GiantX. This same set of 5 players, so it doesn't exactly feel beyond them to be winning. And that's what we're seeing right now, really. We're just looking at Liquid and waiting for an answer, for them to give us something, because GX have done everything right, as you would expect, up until this point. Not a player on the scoreboard has put a foot wrong.
So the operator back out for GiantX to hold down a lane. It is B long, and it's going to set off the Sova towards the lane position to combine with Flickless.
We're just waiting a moment. And the contact piece set up and the util pouring out. Rex finding a kill in the meantime towards the A site.
Where's GSR off to?
Deep deposit. Walks all the way through. And it's going to have the better of Flickless here. Goal wasn't up, but Flickless renders it in time. And the rest of the Liquid playing chase to the space which was initially taken.
Yeah, but Rex is here to try and hold on to that, be the foundation to what this round is. What a shot from Rex!
So crucial that he finds the kills when Ara got on the line first. The op not finding all too much. And GX ineffective to these Liquid pushes. Let off the leash in round number 10. Finally taking a turn, perhaps. That's if Cloud can't find something to say about this. Westside was converging in from the opposite side. Oh, there is information there for Cloud. He's just overwhelmed with this open plant. So Rex is going to race it out in the end. 5 of the best. And Liquid just 1 away now.
They need a few more rounds. We can't see another 8-4 half from this attack. We need to see something better. And so far, that was it. That was the round that we expect from TeamLiquid Academy. Really liked the idea from GSR to use the wall to gain that deep space once they knew that the site was completely clear. I mean, Rex tone here is probably, that's where the round's won.
Exactly. And it's the kind of play that we were just waiting for. Because ultimately, that is what it's going to take for Liquid Academy to net themselves a result here. Rex in his 2nd year of Tier 2 after a spell with RTZN in Italy in 2024. But they haven't faced this tall of a task, not until now. Liquid congregating towards B behind the smoke. The execution coming in and Cloud finding one before it does drop. Oh, Mystic on the opening pick, 1-0 trading, it's a brawl on B, but Liquid get the better of it.
Yeah, they are ahead for the moment, but as the spike goes down, you can see GiantX ready now for the retake.
Ara wanted something on the cross. Liquid, in fact, still posing a threat here to look for a little more. Ara finding the shot he wants, and it's Rex again who has to deliver the goods. Flash in the face of Ara. This op only needs 1 bullet, and Ara is going to find exactly the shot that he was looking for. An 8-4 scoreline still on the cards, as Liquid can't make the most of that opportunity.
And it's fleeting. That's what happens against Tier 1 teams. That's what happens against a Tier 1 duelist like Ara, who's been lights out since that second split. And just keeps looking as if he's able to raise that level.
It's that pair from UCAM that have made all of the difference, really, for GX. And as you say, there's a difference playing on a global stage. And Ara's really put himself in that conversation regionally as well. You would have seen him in those top 3 lists on a few of the different VCT EMEA awards that we had announced just last week. And with this op in play, no counter in sight from Liquid. Can they offer 1 more round? That's all it feels like could be the difference between a really difficult second half or a possibility that they can turn this on its head.
I think the crazy thing is that Rex is 19 kills, where the closest next to him is 7, right? So 1-0, back towards B long. Does again interact with the Sova drone.
you take the ace out of there, it's still double digits, right? And looking at Liquid here, they're only now taking mid control where GX have been pretty liberal, sorry, happy to give it away. B-Fake coming in, baits out the null command.
That's it, and brings players somewhat across, and I mean straight through here in towards mid 1-0, also pulling more and more towards his position and buying time for the rest of the pack to get into spot, and they're very quick to do so.
Cloud looking for the res, but Flickner brought to his knees, is going to drop. Vizalt comes in, but unperturbed by this is Ara.
Yeah, he does have his ultimate, and that operator does get brought offline, but you're looking at Grubby now to be the real difference maker. Cosmic Divide in.
Difficult retake for them, even more difficult with both of these walls now in play. The stage on the Liquid side, the most important, and well, Grubby's going to get one on the way back through. It is such a tall task for Ara, and Liquid do find the 5 that they so desperately needed.
Switching sides.
Yeah, switch of the sides, but is it enough, Kaza? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves with GiantX now moving on to the attack. And we know what Cloud can do when he's able to call there. Do you favour Team Liquid on the defence at all?
With 5 rounds, I do. I think you can't really overstate the difference between that 8-4 half again or a 7-5. And their defenders' sides, in general, have looked better. I mentioned it on the previous map, the calling a little less strenuous on Mystic as well in setting up the team. Some really nice meta games against Foot with how 1-0 was coming in and out with the operator and trading places with Mystic on B. But in the pistol, 2 sets of walls placed on A and plenty of numbers for the defense.
But it's GiantX who wait for the Academy team to move first. Now looks like they could be greeted by that West Side destroying that Prowler. And plenty of bodies now at the back of this. They do take the KG out though, and Rex wants to go further and clear Grubinho. So now wherever the main push is, it's going to be easily red now for Team Liquid Academy.
4 out of 6 pistols yesterday, and another one here keeps them in the game. Liquid getting over to A.
And Ara able to at least get one back here. It's a 2 versus 4, one which doesn't start off terribly.
Zero on the way back in has a lot to find though, and doesn't. 1 versus 1.
And now this is going to be a big one. Cloudo running into Rex. Will get taken out. So with Team Liquid Academy now winning that pistol round, an opportunity to equal things out on the better weaponry.
A lot asked of GX in this second half. We know that in the 2-0 result, their second appearance, I should say, in the playoff stage against Na'Vi yesterday, they had to come back from 8 rounds down to Na'Vi's 12. Picked it up in the end after 3 spells of overtime. Much better from Liquid. As close as it gets, they win one of those 1 versus 1s in the end.
I do. GiantX will fancy themselves here, and they've picked the right lane. With only procs here, it's going to fall back and hope that GSR can support them, both on Spectres.
A gun which is way more in vogue than it used to be with the weapon updates, and GSR does find one through the smoke onto Ara.
Opportunity for more behind that smoke, but as it does drop, it's GSR trying to spray transfer. Instead, it's procs to do that instead. So Cloud tries to pop out through main. We go all even.
Comfortable from Liquid Academy here. And looking forwards as well, this is both pistol rounds that they've been able to achieve so far.
One enemy remaining.
And the anti-eco conversions behind it. Key difference from what we saw in Abyss. A bonus round win, though, would be everything for this side. In terms of the ult economy, checking in on that one quickly, no real points of note. Honestly, Cairo. Doesn't feel like GX have been playing for control of the orbs all too much thus far.
They have not, and if they do so here, they are going to walk into 1-0's Outlaw, and he's repositioned what looks to be correct. Does get taken off guard by Cloud though, and while one shot connects, it will be him to get taken out. So GSR's Sheriff now laid up to try and get a kill. Is successful, but it wasn't the low player. It was a headshot, clean. Ara maybe a bit too overeager, and that spike in no man's land. Difficult to try and get back, but TeamLiquid Academy do not want to contest and give it back to GX.
Yeah. I mean, you can say overeager, but I think I was surprised to see so many Liquid players here.
Yeah.
Gamble on B, that's the call that they make. And now some proactivity mid-round, re-clearing the mid-space. Alarm bot timing is good for West Side, so at the very least, there is some relief from this.
The re-clear, so quick, so effective, but if you're GX, do you expect 3?
We know Liquid did like to make this move in maps gone by.
30 seconds.
Kind of hoping that GX would gain some extra space for themselves, but they haven't.
Last player
Well, that's all 3 players just seen by Grubby. At least a minimum of 2. As you see the reposition of Westside, the KG under Heaven tries to pop his nades to buy himself time, but no one giving him anything, and he knows there's a lot of targets here, and trying to get through the main one, GSR, is impossible. So TeamLiquid Academy regain the lead, which feels like for the first time in a long time.
All of the right decisions being made from Liquid Academy, and that's the buzzword that we brought out of the first map. Felt like at times they were taking a backseat and letting GX have their way with things. In the 1 versus 3, it's unlucky for Westside playing that position. So wall-bangable, needed the first cleanly. But Liquid setting up the engagement a lot more favorably here. And now being in front for the first time in a long time. Do they have what it takes to actually wrap up the map? This Stinger purchase from GX is scary. They can really hit the site with pace.
Yeah, they can really turn up the gears if they need to. But instead, it starts with util and E main, but would rather cut the noise, just ride the clutch through the map as they start to look towards mid where Rex is.
There's riding the clutch and there's coasting. GX have to make an incision and they're doing it on Rex, and Flixless is going to pick it up.
Nice little set piece there. GSR pushed back from taking any engagements. And you look at B, it's pretty much open, right? Proc's trying to play from Heaven where he's smoked off from.
There is still a res available for Liquid Academy here though, so they can find a way to get numbers back on side when GSR re-clears alley, and no clear priorities from GX other than an on-site post plant.
Spike
You know,
planted.
with the spike down, you can see GSR does have that resurrection, which he'll be looking to come back in and use on Rex. Exactly the case. So 5 versus 5. I don't know if Rex actually still has his rifle. Probably GX have picked that up, and yes, he is on just a pistol.
That spike has been ticking for some time now. Liquid need the answers, and it's Ara that's finding them for GX on the opposite side. Mystic one in the conversation, but the health pool dwindling. GSR reaching into his pockets for a heal. But is there anyone that can save Liquid now? Westside with another. And the writing was on the wall, but still, you don't expect it to be read word for word. Another thrifty round in this series, and of course it's GX to pick it up.
Yeah, this isn't just a GiantX who went to champs. This was a GiantX that was top 2 in EMEA. Sure, they lost the grand final to TeamLiquid, but in the form that they were in, right, with Trex and Keiko playing so well, you were expecting them to win out. There is no doubt about it.
Remaining.
TeamLiquid Academy have a tough task ahead of them. At least the operator back in. That economy starting to get a little bit tight.
Unfortunately for Liquid, there is no Trex or Kiko anymore. And not in the server right now either. Any of those players looking to put their name up in light. It's been all Ara right now, and even Rex, the best that Liquid have to offer, will melt under the pressure. Ooh, optimistic choice there from Flickless to be looking for the orb, as GSR is unrelenting in his own efforts. Maybe he wants to go for a challenge on Ara, but the result is the same.
Advantage GiantX, overdrive for post. Where do they reclear next? It seems as if Cloud wants the spike and they are going to start to run towards B. It's TeamLiquid Academy through mid, where Westside has to be worried most.
Westside turning his head at just the wrong moment, but catches 1-0 sleeping. And with that Mystic, a 1 versus 2 afforded to him an opportunity, a better one than maybe he's seen so far in this series. But still, it's making that first breakthrough that is most difficult. And it looks like Ara has him dead to rights. He doesn't, but does get out.
Yeah, able to escape. 2 lane. Both players actually isolated from one another. But I like the fact that Ara plays really far back and not really wanting to engage, giving him a chance to trade out Cloud if it comes down to it.
Just dipping into the drone, and the fact that GX do split up is better for them here. Mystic has so much to clear, and with that plant out in the open, the smoke at the very least gives him cover, but you're expecting the ult here from Cloud to slow things down. Steps have been heard, so no reason to wager it now. As GX are back in front. Cairo, 9 rounds to 8 at the grindstone. GX looking the better of the two.
And they have the better of the ultimates. They're first in this race to get them online. The overdrive for Ara, obviously good for just being that fast pace, the switch up if needed. You've also got what? Hunter's Fury. You've also got the null command. So wherever they want to hit, realistically, GiantX, they're going to have access to, I mean, have no util kind of combating them.
Come at the king, you best not miss. Ara making the most of the jewels he was presented with there as he waited patiently in A main for the opportunity. Bacon with another timeout. And while Liquid have gotten themselves back into this game for what the half looked like, I have to say, it's just, again, another example of there being missed opportunities along the road, little situations that maybe could have gone in their favor which don't, while all the while ultimately relying on players like Rex and GSR to do the heavy lifting when you have Prox and Mystic who've both been in VCT over that time. And of course, 1-0, who was the one on Pearl yesterday that made the difference.
Well, needs to be the difference maker here and now, or else things will very quickly change, and this could be our quickest semi-final of the night. GiantX, first couple of engagements do go their way. Very clean.
Liquid looking for some info out mid. Face check fails. And it's not the first time we've seen Rex peek in front of this A-site setup either on this map, which, as the Vice player, leaves you scratching your head sometimes. There's a difference between backing your individual ability and giving up the utility which the rest of the team needs. Liquid have gambled and made the right call in this situation.
I mean, with bodies on the site, they're ready to try and play off one another. That spike on the back of Flickless, and I mean, plenty of time to deal with any problems. That wall maybe a little bit awkward and actually working out in their favour. The overdrive being used, and I mean, there's ultimates to fall back on GiantX, but they might need to at this point with the way that the engagements are going. Cloud demand to win out the round realistically after getting a double of his own. Spike goes down, double digits found for GiantX.
Highlighted some of the problems with Liquid at the start of that. Of course, it is the eco, so you do give them the time of day. I like the wall from GSR, and I want to see a little bit more of that from him as well. Making things awkward, changing up the angles, allows for those defenders to retake out of art. Or flood back in, I should say. But this is it. This is the real barometer of strength for Liquid Academy. They have a full purchase. There are ults in play for both teams, of which continues to favor GX. Only GSR spotted on the knife. Here is the operator.
Oh, Ara just caught there as well. And the first, again, couple engagements going the way of one team, and that's TeamLiquid Academy. That Spike now just looking to transition, and we've seen a few times where GiantX are able to fight the way back from a disadvantage. Yeah, it won't happen this time. Grubby has well and truly been locked into a corner that he needs to fight out of. TeamLiquid Academy answers straight back.
And quite handily as well. From the timeout into the rifle purchase. Op from 1-0, finding value. He gets out of dodge with the TP, and then just the rest of the site setup is looking good. It's honestly one of the first times we've actually seen Liquid decide to fight from backside rather than being as hyper-aggressive as they were in main. Of course, we still saw that from 1-0, but he's the one with the license to do it.
I'm out of here.
License to kill does 1-0.
Here he is again.
And once again, he gets a pick, and there was damage put onto West Side as well. And lucky to get away with his life. Rex coming in here as well to grab Grubby.
He's lucky to find that kill.
So the wall has been procced. GiantX looking to play around the map, see if they can find a way to isolate an engagement. And the biggest one right now would probably be GSR, who's quickly being reinforced, or even Mystic in A main.
Cloud coming back over, solo spike carrier in main, so he knows that this art fight has to happen first, but there is a double stack on the Liquid side.
High-low. Difficult to clear, both players has been seen, so it's Flickless with a flash of his own to try and break this, but I mean, look at TeamLiquid Academy. They're looking to play off one another, and Cloud has to go all the way back to spawn with the spike on his back, looking for an avenue in which to approach a site.
Maybe even just save the
30
gun.
seconds left.
Rex is on it like a car bonnet. And so the round ends flawlessly. Just a single casualty for Liquid in the last 2 rounds. Looking so much better now on this defender's side. And for GX, without these entries anymore from Ara in the last few, it's been really difficult to find the space.
I was going to ask you, Hazza, how on it is actually a car bonnet?
I don't know, it's a figure of speech, isn't it? Like, I don't have the answers, man, I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, I respect you for attempting, but the big thing here, as you said, are his entries. They need to come back. He does have a rifle, though, and that's the difference between the two teams. As Mystic looks to shoulder peek, and well, after seeing information, will happily drop back. 1-0 here as well. Operator now looking for some of his own.
1-0 in play. And again, this operator strikes. The bane of GX's existence in the second half. They could even wanting to follow this up with a little bit more aggression, but it has been handled, at least initially, by GX. But that second wave shuts them down. Another round with just a single loss of players on the Liquid side. And the home straight now in front of them.
Yeah, that's true. The question I have to ask is, when does Pipson use his second timeout here?
I thought you were going to say, how long's a piece of string? Another great question from you, of course, Kyra.
Thank you very much.
But I don't know. Do we expect another timeout from Pipson? Honestly, it's based on his track record. It's not something that we've seen.
Yeah, I know, but he timed out after 3 rounds. What is this the longest gap we're going to see between timeouts used?
Can't question the methods, man. How many Champions games have you coached?
I don't even...
The answer is 0. It's fine. We can go to the round.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. I was going to say, I only attended my first Champs this year, so he's coached more Champs games than I have attended.
Oh, nice shots from Prox through the wall as well. West side, such a big early loss. That's the backline control gone. And Liquid continuing to apply pressure. The real difference for me is just the fact they're winning every one.
Yeah.
GX aren't getting a single foot in the conversation.
Yeah, the coin flips are not so 50-50 anymore. And when you're hitting shots like that, Prox, a nice adjustment after the initial spray.
I think more than anything, it's just the confidence building for Liquid. They can't put a foot wrong.
And the question is if this momentum continues like it has been, what does map 3 look like? Because we are right on map point, on map number 2.
2 flawlesses and 2 rounds with
Match
only a
point.
single player dropped. GX, the well has dried up. It felt like they had everything in abundance, and all of a sudden it's a completely different team that steps into the server. It's hard to say what's changed really, Cairo, because they've just stopped winning fights.
Yeah, but maybe it's TeamLiquid Academy have started winning fights as well.
Sure.
Because they've decided, I don't know if it was Bacon or who, someone in the team has gone, right guys, this is enough, let's actually start playing the game here, and they're doing so successfully. 4 ultimates in this next one to contest, have GiantX to deal with. And look at this little gap 1-0 has to play with.
Finds the shot again. 1-0, always good for a first blood, it seems, with the op. And when you look at what GX's biggest strengths are as a team, it's the team play. We've just not seen any way for that to factor in the last few rounds. It's a little harsher there against the operator, but the setup is lackluster, to say the least.
Spike drop.
So with Cloud left and A main, a dimensional drift used to try and see where the rest of the forces are, and all 3 seen. So 1-0 gives that information and all the players begin to rotate.
Are on site in the smoke already. Liquid forces gathering on their way back through spawn. A reveal onto his position makes it so difficult. Prox forced to drop back into secret, but the numbers are here and ready for this retake. Ult in from Liquid. Everything on the line for them to take this one home. And it's Mystic now, starting to make it happen.
There's a Cosmic Divide as well that's going to be used at the perfect time.
And the flash just doesn't capitalize for GX either. So Liquid can start working on this, and it's all a mental timing for GX. Both shocks land, but the player's not dropped. Rex trying to stick it, and Mystic picking up the pieces. Liquid will send us to a decider as they look for their 4th win against a VCT opponent.
Yeah, it's been excellent. We still have the opportunity to have 2 challenges.
In this competition so far hasn't been particularly great. We saw Chronicle piloting it earlier, and we've seen Westside play this before. Cast your minds back to the Fnatic London clash, where we saw it from him on Haven. Grubby picked up an ace in that same game, but he was on the Omen. That's a little bit of a change that you have to see from this team, but on the whole, I like the foundation of what it is that GX are working with. The question is, how does that play out in practice?
Well, that is the answer that we'll be looking for. You look at the what's available for GiantX, that Viper, for instance, seeing what they can do with it, but already contact being taken with the camera gone, mid completely given up, and you can hear TeamLiquid Academy getting all the audibles. There's 4 players to try and contest West Side.
Westside is going to give it up, though. Liquid won't, on the other hand. Brilliant paranoia to set up the second fight. It's one which Mystic will take himself. A trap crossing the site for Rextone. Doesn't want to overexert himself here. Has to play passive as the rest of the team is chasing this up into Garage. And that's where Prox will strike. A 5 versus 2 for Liquid. Picked up so many pistols already in this competition. And it looks like this one might just be another on the tally. There it is. The defender side off to the perfect start.
TeamLiquid Academy, arguably with the highest pistol round win rate so far in this Phase 4. It has to be said.
It's between them and Eternal Fire, and that might just be the matchup we end up with tomorrow if things continue. But I'm liking this initial defensive, aggressive look from them because they started on the attack side the last 2 maps, really struggled to get into the game early. You do start to wonder how many rounds can they post up early here and how many are going to be enough when we get to the side switch. They are playing double duelist.
ISO Neon as well, not what we are used to seeing when we see ISO in the server on Haven. Usually Yoru on the other side, but that was banned out. So with that, players now starting to be sent forward. Rex is able to find Flickless at least, and this should be a pretty easy professional round from TeamLiquid Academy.
Yeah.
That is the case. There's only 1 player has been felled, and that was the Omen of Mystic.
Cloud building towards the ult. GSR is ready to receive this one though. And Liquid will win back-to-back rounds to kick off Haven. I have to say as well, seeing Mystic back on the Omen on Haven, this is an iconic pairing. Just waiting to see when he's going to first bring out a disrespectful TP or so. The Paranoias, at least to begin with, though, have been on point. All of the counter utility from Liquid Academy and stopping GX finding a foothold and channeling that momentum from the previous. The bonus is a completely different thing in and of itself, though. A win here really puts them away.
Well, it's going to be a walk down mid for the Academy side. And one which GiantX are trying to welcome.
Toxin screen down.
It's going to be GiantX to win out the first duel, but the activation comes through. And GiantX are still keeping themselves in front. They know exactly what they're up against. As Mystic does try and TP out. He is only on a Sheriff and unfortunately gives himself up.
Overstays his welcome just a little bit there. You could see GX right from the word go were ready for Liquid to make some kind of an aggressive move. The way that they've been utilizing this veto is with the Interceptor just over the A wall. So on barrier drop, when you'd usually be looking for a quick Sova dart, something of the sort, they are able to cancel all of that out.
Now Rex, with a Spectre in hand, looks to get up close and personal and has information with the pop of his own trip. Does give up everything, so GS are very quick. And there's a rifle at his feet, picks it up, Grubby close by. He has seen the Astra, but can't quite get onto the angle just yet. Waiting for the opportunity, does take out the Astra. Spike is successful in going down though.
It's right in the corner of sight, though. Boxed in right now at GX, even with numbers.
Yeah, but you know they're good for a brawl.
Hang on!
Consider the garage position that Rex had taken up. Flickless now in a 1 versus 2. I mean, Rex still on a Spectre, and Flickless perhaps about to walk into it. Here's the steps, looks towards the left, the confirmation through the drone is lovely. It's all about getting this last kill, which Team Liquid Academy will be successful in doing. It's 3-0 on a defender side Haven.
Brilliant shots coming through from the duo. Said it on the previous map, they couldn't win the clutch there, but the amount of times we have seen this pairing come up with results, both of them yet to die so far. GX doing all the right things, at least at the start of the round, to inhibit Liquid's game plan. But this from GSR, also the Sova drone on an agent which we've really not seen him play all too much of in the past, was just great to confirm it.
So we're back in another eco round that GiantX will have to try and get through.
Yeah.
2 Stingers in the mix has it, which will be difficult to deal with.
Looking like a fast B play, and you've got to say it early here. Liquid Academy have struggled to win some of these rounds after taking an early advantage.
That they have, so this is where we've got to see Team Liquid Academy coming alive, and it looks like they are, with just West Side left, locked out on a Sheriff. And that's where Team Liquid Academy needed to improve, and they've done so here.
Great util combo. The decay and the shock dart from GSR combined with procs, it ends flawlessly. And Liquid Academy keep GX honest. This has been the perfect start to Haven.
And we could see ultimates being built, both Hunter's Fury actually available for either side. Mystic maybe getting an easy couple of kills off the back of that. Flawless round in the end.
I really want to look again at this lobby fight, though, because this is where GX were able to find results in previous matches. Doesn't feel like Flickless has really threatened all too much with the Viper so far, and you can see Westside looking again for this same Interceptor I was talking about, but Liquid are already there to counter it. Has been broken early. And a much deeper reveal, but one which doesn't scan.
Doesn't find the information, but look at where GX are. Look at the map control that they don't have.
Yeah, because Liquid Academy have 2 players on either extremity, really testing the limits. And they're trying to stretch the play here.
And GiantX, if they try to re-clear, there's not a whole bunch of information or utility that they're going to have already. We're going to see owl drone off the back of it. The Hunter's Fury, though, does get 2 tags, but no kills.
Great use of the ult from GSR. Knows that it was an A re-clear with that common drone. Wanzero is the canary in the coal mine on C, but it is a B play through the middle of the map, and so Liquid do lose a lot of that valuable positioning that they had.
Yeah, Rex just under fire there towards C-Link and is called for support, and that's where the neon of 1-0 has gone. A stack of 3 towards A-Link, so you know that GX are forced into grass. A very deep post plan, but one which could prove to be successful considering there is still a Sova ultimate in play. A Hunter's Fury should that time get low. Rex now dancing with Grubby, and it's Rex that comes out on top as well as TeamLiquid Academy. Cloud able to keep it somewhat even and even get the advantage in the end. Can GX finish this out successfully? The answer is yes.
A great round from GX there, and I love the usage of the Sova ult from Cloud. Instead of waiting for players to get on site, find the line, and be more aggressive on the Liquid side, he takes it to bail out West side, at least give him a better chance in that 50-50 on the corner when he knows that Liquid are forced to duel it out. Still with money behind this defender's side, but a huge opportunity for GX to really get back in this game now.
Still money good for the defense. Operator in play for 1-0 once again, him towards C. And it's the extremities where we've seen GiantX really struggle to take space. It's this time where they're going to start to ply their trade on A.
Veto util won't be broken this time, but Liquid don't show any signs of wanting to challenge. That's if you don't account for 1-0, of course. Down C long. Finds a pick with the op and drops off. Cyphercam is still here, so Liquid can choose to play retake on C and tribute their forces elsewhere.
There.
Seems as if the Spike, though, does want to head to C. Or at least create some pressure towards... Oh! I don't know about that 1-0.
Yeah, just searching with the operator. Shoots in front of the Cypher Trap, of course, not playing from the utility there. And in this 4-on-4 situation, it is looking ever more likely that GX wants C. Do Liquid play retake? Rex has opened both cages, and they're fast to make players entry on backside. The bodies are here, and the most of them logs. Looking to duel, and Liquid with initial gains, but GX turn the tide, turn the page, and with that, right back in this game.
They are very much back in this game. Ultimates to play with. And a gap to try and come back into, dealing decent damage overall. 1-0 with a great entry, and just had movement error on that last attempt before he got taken out. And I think that would have been the round change to had GiantX really gone 2 behind.
Yeah. And GX also doing a great job at punishing some of these overextensions through 1-0 when things go quiet, and you know Liquid are going to be looking for that extra information. A much more vigilant attack side than what we'd seen previously.
Watcher expired.
Seems as if TeamLiquid Academy, though, have gambled correctly here. 4 bodies on the A site.
And the recon coming in a little later because they know the trophy system is often active here, and actually Liquid do want to make moves. And quite heavily handed it as well. Into long they go. Westside can sit in all of this in his evolved form, of course, but 1-0 still wants to go Scorched Earth, has the overdrive, chooses to use it, but Grubby's wraparound might just be the dagger.
It's Rex to come back in, though. 1 versus 2.
Out of the smoke, he is going to find the first. Neural Theft to confirm the second. Does Cloud want to play a fake? Or is he fully committed to this rotation? It's the fake.
And Rex has bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Cloud waiting to see if the player was coming from behind. He isn't. So they're both probably going to meet on B. Considering the amount of traps on C, it's going to be difficult to get through that, and you're playing into Rex's playground.
This is exactly where Rex has to play from. Has the cam and the info towards C. This is the one lane that he can't quite control. still not aware of each other's presence, but Rex will be there for Cloud. He peeks back through, quickly turned. Rex doesn't know, and Cloud will strike. GX back within 1 round, 3 in a row now.
It's fantastic from Cloud. You can just see the experience edging it in his favour. Within 1 of GiantX. It's been a decent comeback overall, but not without trials and tribulations. Again, TeamLiquid Academy. Hazard, the question is, should they have won that round?
I don't want to say it was their round to lose because it was still a 2 versus 1 for Rex, but I think GX are understanding a lot more what it is that this defense is really trying to do, at least in terms of forcing those engagements, which they've been winning ever since Pearl.
Team gunfights going their way. But in terms of keeping the momentum at the back, I think GiantX are going to do a good job of that, considering what's available. Viper's Pit, if it can get into a decent position, could be the difference maker. The Odin finding information through mid. Where does GiantX want to go with this? It seems like Garage is a point of call.
Still the star sat in the window, and with the steps echoing off into the distance, GX thinking about this split execution. All eyes on Mystic. He is the solo hold of Long.
He is. And he's the first one out. Great shots. And takes out the Sova, the clearing. Does go for the TP, tries to bait it out, and Ara doesn't consider. Mystic once again from C-Long tries to make the play and tries to hold on to an important piece of the map. As Prox gets one of his own, Mystic does a dance through the smoke, but it's 1-0 who's first on site, dipping out and allow Grubby to play first.
Mystic has bought so much time for the rest of his team. Now a 2 versus 1 for Liquid.
It's Rex to walk up first. Spike successful. Grubby going into his cosmic form and busts out as the cosmic divide goes in. It will be TeamLiquid to deny GiantX the opportunity of a round win. And on top of that, a fair amount of ultimates invested there from the attack.
Yeah, we saw the overdrive as well as the cosmic divide. Both Neon and Astra ults put on the table by GX, but no result. Mystic showing that he can frag as an in-game leader, especially on an agent which he has become so synonymous with over the years. It's crazy because I feel like the point I was going to make before this round is perfect for what we've just seen. A 1 versus 1 is going to favor Liquid every day of the week. A 5 versus 5 is where GX really want to be, but we've just not seen it happen, honestly, Cairo.
No, we've really not. I feel as if like the initial engagements have always went the way of one team very quickly on, like in the early hours of the round. Pipson just not happy with what he's been seeing. So with 8 rounds played, we get our first timeout.
Really liking the rotations from Liquid as well. That's the great strength of this double duelist, where in years gone by, it's felt like maybe you lacked the extra utility. That's exactly where they excel. You've got the stun coming in on these really fast-paced rotates from Wanzeru, who's floating around with the op. Prox can come in and undercut, suppress, decay. And the way that the map plays as well, with the A and C sites having that default position of cover right in the middle, it's great for those kinds of utility like the Paranoia to, even when we've seen the Omen usage drop off, to just feed into.
Pings from TeamLiquid Academy towards A. And it's actually Mystic in shot for the moment.
I mean, more than anything, this just says to me that Liquid feels so confident in their read of the situation because they've completely given up B. No threat of a lurk as it stands. Not something we've seen Westside really do as the Sentinel in this lineup. But yeah, I still feel like we're waiting for that impact from the Veto.
I would agree. And I think something that we have seen is the impact of the Cypher through the passive information that he's been able to buy. Rex very much at home with the agent he's playing, and he's the player who's going to be under fire the most on C. A very common setup that we've seen from him.
Even with the deep information on A through Mystic, this rotation is a little late. Wanzeru holding on to the Odin, starting to spam through the box, and then he finds the double kill. Dashes away from the shock in time, and here is Prox to support. Low HP on Wanzeru, the rest of them dead and buried.
Oh, flank. Look at Mystic, he's used his Omen ultimate. Can he get into position in time?
That's the problem. The pit's gone up though, Cairo, and that really limits what Mystic would have been able to do had he not already given away his position through spam. A 1 versus 3 for the in-game leader.
Yeah, there is something that he can do though. He can use the pit to his advantage because it almost is working like a smoke, right? There's only one player towards backside. That's the only player that can really fight Mystic.
Puts the smoke up top, fakes the TP. Would need to take a second to make his way out, so GX aren't falling for this one at all. Mystic does pick up the first, but the Viper's still in play and just not enough time. The fumes consume him as Liquid Academy's lead is not looking as strong as it used to be.
It's not, but they are still ahead by at least one. And the question, not the question, the answer I'd probably say to what you've just said is that overall, Team Liquid Academy have probably already done enough on this defense.
I guess that's what remains to be seen, right? Because their defenders' side have been a cut above their attack, but Haven is an attack-sided map and you're playing an attack-sided composition as well in many ways, so we'll just have to find out.
In a way, yes, but listen, we can come back to that conversation for the time being. 1-0 has just slid out into mid, and Grabinho will stop anybody trying to get onto his position. Mid firmly, or at least Garage, I should say, firmly in his control. So with 2 kills taken, Team Liquid Academy still really reserved in their positioning on the map. It's Mystic who's going to play first.
Yeah, bit of an eco here for Liquid Academy, so the expectation is lower. And to quickly come back to what it was you were saying about the side biases, well, Liquid do need as many rounds as they can get on the defense. They've only picked up 6 on attack halves from their last 3 appearances on Haven this event. 2 of those to Bratan Mix. GX doing exactly what they need to keep themselves in this one right now though, Cairo. This has been a very assured approach to the anti-eco.
Camera taken out.
I think at this point, with the time that's been taken to come into this round, Team Liquid Academy might just be thinking about what they can find in terms of exits. Not really wanting to make themselves too much of a nuisance, and that's exactly the way the first kill will go. GSR next, and well, Mystic out on A long, was hoping someone would try and re-clear him.
Yeah.
Just a headshot, just damage in the end, Rex. Ooh, not even gonna save the rifle. That's a bit frustrating, but there is money in pocket. And for Liquid Academy here as well, this round so important. The question on my mind is, where exactly are they going to look to set priority? Do they want to maybe try and go for this mid-aggression again? Or are they leaning into taking that expansive control on the limits of the map? Because right now, GX are just sitting, waiting, and punishing. It has been a direct counter to the game plan up until this point. And without an op in play, it also makes it a lot more difficult for the defense to take those lines.
No distraction.
Nice from Prox. Does pick up at least one here, and Flickless being lost would stop any passive control that the attack could have.
And that.
The rest of Liquid Academy are ready for this C push.
There they are. Nice shots, and Team Liquid Academy respond very quickly with Grubby. Nowhere near this one. Spike on C-Long. Has to divide and conquer. GSR up on Plat, the first one to take contact, and Grubby gets a chance at this, but it's not the nicest or prettiest to look at. Team Liquid Academy will be at least even on the half.
Yeah, almost every round we've seen Liquid Academy really happy to give up the B site and the middle of the map, more importantly. That's where they're just so cognizant of the fact that Grubby could be flanking in that situation. And the bigger takeaway for me on the round is Prox hitting some really nice shots with the ult, backing himself to use it in an aggressive position at the start.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more risk-free than taking a peek or something of that
Yeah.
account, I suppose.
I mean, the thing about... Well, we can come back to the conversation I was about to have is we're going to get a Hunter's Fury
Combo?
thrown straight in, and it's going to be Cloud just to throw one back in GSR's face, and GiantX to straight away come into the kill feed. First ones to do it for this round at least. And I don't think they actually want to execute here just yet.
Yeah, Rex repositioned Plat early and Mystic was arriving, but GX don't initiate. They're now starting to re-explore their options, but this kind of favors Liquid.
Oh, 1-0 does find a chance and gets one kill, but we've got to be looking at Mystic and the deposit he's in.
Really nice bait for this one, actually. And it looks like Rex is going to find a timing here too. He does. Now a 3-on-3, Cairo. It has very quickly changed. GX looking a little indecisive and having the numbers run against them now.
Well, with the decision being made, though, they're on towards A, where TeamLiquid Academy are the quickest. Fast lane to try and break out of CT, but one which they don't actually take, so utility used, and you've got to be looking at Ara, who could be in late. Cosmic Divide also being invested in a crossfire established between Flickless and Grabinho, but when he pops out of the pocket, he still wins the round, Grubby. 6-6 is where we end up at the half.
Switching sides.
I don't even know who I favour here.
I feel like you do have to favor GX now, though, because they've done very well on that attack side. It wouldn't seem like it on paper, but Liquid were really relying on having a positive scoreline heading out of this. Retake attempt was nice. Mystic just committing his life for the cause there with the TP. But clever positioning from Grubby is their undoing. So for the first time, the team's on equal terms coming into the second half.
So it's just basically all in the second half now, right? to try and win out a best of 3 and a place in our Blender Grand Final. GiantX have already tasted defeat in this off-season. That was in the Fnatic London Clash. They won't want to taste it again.
Standing ahead.
Always been a team that we've seen compete in so many of these events, GX. Getting the most reps possible. This Cloud is going to forfeit control of the A site here. It's a 5-on-5 retake that we're presented with in the pistol. Liquid winning the majority of them so far in this series.
Well, with Spike planted, you can see like TeamLiquid Academy
players in
want to
smoke.
play this on the front foot, and it's Rex in the kill feed, but GiantX out on top, straight back in. GSR now to clutch up, and we've seen it time and time again with a Sheriff in hand, but this time it's just a classic waiting for that smoke to drop. Thought for a second it was doable, but GiantX do win the pistol.
Yeah, no util belt, just a classic. Hard pressed to find too much there, but GSR still making some magic happen. One of the first pistol rounds which Team Liquid will lose in this series, though. The vast majority of them going their way up until this point. Nice call to force the issue. Where they initially have the jump, it's then where GX regroup and take those fights with information. This one can very quickly change, Cairo. Not seen a force buy come out from Liquid just yet. And other than this Marshall, there is little to write home about.
Seen it before though, a Marshall combined with a pistol can be a difficult prospect. I think it's the Marshall Sheriff one they were talking about from Heretics the other day there.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be seeing that here.
Triple Marshall in the ranked games on an eco, try it. For those at home.
Oh my god.
Outlaw hitting different though. West side with a couple of kills. And Ara also adding into the mix. You know, 2 Marshalls also works, but unfortunately, Liquid Academy just have 1 now.
Yeah. Seems as if it's been passed like a family heirloom. And unfortunately, GiantX have a West side to deal with that.
Yeah. Looking really nice from him. And while we haven't really seen this full implementation of the veto. Cloud himself in the post-match interview saying yesterday that he still struggles to see a way where it can find a lot of impact, and VCT teams are still figuring that out. He's definitely got a setup for us here, more towards the C side of the map. The TPs to quickly bring him back into play, as this is their bonus.
Go, go, go.
And a mandatory result for Liquid Academy.
Seems info darts traded once again. West Side's Outlaw gets on early to an angle, but GSR is the one to win out. And at the same time, GiantX Proactivity starts to push down C long. So this map getting smaller without TeamLiquid Academy realising it.
Yeah, Rex still clicking the cam a couple of times to check for if a player had walked out garage. What he doesn't know, though, of course, is that this creep up behind is still going. Flickless really pushing back now on the attack side. And walking into the spike, maybe. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, this could turn the round completely on its head as Flickless finds himself in a brilliant position and even wins out. So, it seems like TeamLiquid Academy look to execute. They've not got the spike, and they need to try and get that one back as Flickless is escaping like a thief in the night. He might have just stole the round, and GiantX, with 40 seconds left, just need to burn the clock.
Fake TP from Mystic, wants to join Prox on B, but looks for the jewel on Flickless and loses it.
That's another time where the spike has gone down in this round because of Flickless's actions. Prox now trying to run, fight back in, and unfortunately for him, GX up to 9.
So many rounds where we've seen a GX player fully contact as much space as possible on the defender's side and be rewarded for it massively. I think it's interesting as well when you talk about the attack side calling here for Mystic, because not only does he come from some seasoned veterans, but think of the players we're talking about. He was on the Focus team last year, which had a real priority on Haven, despite the slip-off into Ascension. Boaster, one of the best Haven callers in the world, if not the best that we've seen. And Yumpy with BBL last year as well, also putting up results on this map specifically. Not quite able to translate those ideas, and GX just running away with the game now. Something has to change.
It does. I think once you see a defender's side get momentum like that, that's when you've got to see your coach call a timeout. Try and break up the play. What Pipson also has the opportunity to do is to talk to his team and try and bring them on side. And I wonder what he would be thinking about this moment right now. GiantX, 1 away from double digits.
Flipping that conversation then and talking about GX on this map, of course, it did feature in their win against Sentinels at Champs, and something they were or always have been good at doing is figuring out what needs to change for them to find improvements. But honestly, there's little to be said of this attack right now. The defense is doing all that has been required. Change the pace from Liquid as they take Garage.
And also through mid. I can't remember the last time we saw them hitting towards B, but Grubby is looking to play towards the front of site. Untradeable and gifting a rifle to his opponents makes this round a little bit interesting. Maybe more so as Liquid escape through C-Link and have left Prox at the back of B site.
Yeah, it's detached from this, but look, GX don't want anything to do with it. They're going to save the weapons. Not give Liquid Academy a chance to have those rifles change hands and upgrade. One of the players looking for it would be Prox. He finds Cloud. And we're back within 2. If he finds the op, that's just the cherry on the cake. And he will!
Unbelievable. Great round from Prox. Great round from TeamLiquid Academy. And Hazza, it feels like what Bacon's advice was, is guys, stop using a scalpel when we can just use a sledgehammer.
Remember who you are more than anything else and show some of that second half confidence that we saw on Pearl. Because a switch instantly flipped in them, it feels like. And speak of the devil, Pipson has called his own timeout. And I'm actually not surprised, because one of the conversations from the comms videos that he was having in that exact Sentinels game is just back yourself, to make the right calls in the mid-round and actually search out space when you lose it. Liquid Academy were given free real estate to make that threat a reality, and they end up converting on it.
A 2-round gap, which can feel like a cavern, could feel...
A cavern?
Cavern.
Oh, cavern.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say chasm.
Yeah, I mean, I meant to say chasm, but I got the word.
It's fine.
Fine,
You got it out
don't
now.
break,
Yeah,
break,
it
just break
feels
up,
like a
mate.
cavern.
Yeah,
No,
it feels
it's
like a
good.
cavern. Thanks, mate. You know what, guys? If anyone out there is looking to cast some games, give me a shout.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. Right, it does feel still like a big gap, but GX with a mixed investment, it's not the best.
It's not
for them right now. It's not the best for them right now.
And they have rebought the operator back up. It's Westside who has that weapon, a stinger in the mix as well. So it feels like last hurrah before they find themselves on an eco. And TeamLiquid Academy then firmly in the driving seat.
Yeah, GX not doing all too much on the defense right now, but with 30 seconds passing, you can see the first bit of action. Cloud's drone just missing out on 1-0. He had an op on the A side, but it's all attention on C, where Liquid are looking to go for another burst on site.
And it's Flickless once again, who's caught by Prox. A man with a renewed sense of confidence, but not one that will actually win him the fight as Flickless comes back in, trying to find a safe spot. And well, he'll end up getting found out. Ara's still on site, finding player after player.
Oh.
This is a triple kill on the round. GSR now has to do his best of a clutch. Still shock darts are fired off. Nobody gives him an engagement. 6 bullets in the chamber.
Left.
A tough task ahead of him, but one which he will play the patient game.
Ara is low, so he's the first point of contact here. GSR waits for the dart and has the info now.
There they are.
Yeah, he's worried about where that other player could be. Picks up the Phantom, but it's Westside's op that pushes GX to double digits. An important round that TeamLiquid had to win, you felt, for this comeback to truly be on, but missing out puts GiantX back in the driving seat.
And with Liquid's track record as well, as you say, that chasm does open up between the two teams because in terms of the economy, I'm not sure how good it looks for them right now, but this was a really big swing round if they could have won it because GX would have been pushed to a low buy again. They've managed to take an operator as well now on West side. If they win here, might just be the map.
Could be. I mean, there's plenty of information off the back of it, and GiantX want to try and fight this, and they're successful in doing so through Ara once again, as he's not done, and neither is Westside. TeamLiquid Academy might be, though, as a 3 versus 1, which Rex needs to clutch up.
Straight from the strat book, GX stick it to Liquid on any sign of contact. Ara and Grubby leading that fight, even without the Omen in play. The extra Astra utility's been fantastic. Flickless in position again. And Rex is walking into trouble.
Flickless, we've seen him from here before. Does Rex consider it as he clears towards window?
And that's a big loss, because now Rex does have an opportunity to play this 2v1. He is low, and Westside has the TP. He takes it.
Yeah, he's on site towards logs. Rex already low, but it doesn't matter. He's up against an operator, and 1 bullet would be enough. As Rex tries to play with the timing, make the GX players reconsider, but time is low, and he does need to get onto site to give him enough time to get that spike down.
Really smartly played from Rex. He knows he can play with the time. Already arrived at his destination. Now getting the spike plant in, as Westside's hands were busy.
So here we go. Rex makes his attempt, but does allow Westside into garage, an opportunity to peek out, and a classic is enough. That grab growing up to 4, and I mean, GX 2 off of winning this map.
And exactly as I was saying, GX have always been fantastic at these set pieces. in the 5 versus 5s, in these team fights, these brawls, that's where Liquid Academy then start to look second best. Individually, moments like what you just saw from Rex, that's when I back them, but that's so difficult to try and play for. It's a team-based game after all, and I think just the amount of time that GX have had together as well is playing into that perfectly.
And you look for what could be the last round. The economy state, I think, is a big one to talk about. As there's a few players on about 200-300 credits. The attack side, they need not only just a successful round, but one with a spike plan in to give them as much opportunity as winning this as possible. Beacon timing out, using his last opportunity to speak to his team.
And like you say, this is the most important round in the series so far for Liquid and their tournament lives, because while GX will move up to 12 and still need to win one more to take the map, you just don't leave yourself enough room to negotiate anything better than a 12-7. And with the money shot, Ultimates still lagging behind in comparison to GX. Seems as if Liquid are going to go for A again.
Westside brings out the evolution. An ultimate used, but an opportunity taken. The operator not able to snap to the target it wanted, and now Cloud tries to take the fight with just a classic. He's successful in doing so numbers at least even for the time being.
Just confirms no one's pushed the site, but now the second wave comes in. GX are here.
Yeah, and so are TeamLiquid Academy, and so is Prox. Cloud, though, still alive, finds space towards shot.
It's the one player with a Sheriff, the weapon he picks up, but Arrow on the backlines gets it, goes 2-on-2, and actually Liquid decide they want to bail. Fake plant B, they're going C.
And they've baited out the Hunter's Fury, which is not going to find value, and the players do get towards C. So GiantX, trying to re-clear the B site, are going to be late here, allowing TeamLiquid Academy to set up their post plant.
Post plant is towards spawn, GSR repositioning. We'll catch a player on the way through, but it's that 1v1 from Garage where you can see Prox set up.
So it's on to the individuals to hit their shots as everyone approaches from a different lane and holds a different angle. Prox, who's been the man so far, is the next one to go. So GSR, what do you have? Not a whole lot. Ara the difference maker, and GiantX up to 12.
The most important round in Liquid's tournament so far, and of course, it is GiantX that take it. Ara has been lights out map to map. And with a few quiet moments here and there, it is GX, the ones with 5 opportunities to close this. Great work from Cloud on site after Liquid had done very well initially to open things up through both of their duelists.
One enemy remaining.
It just feels like, for as great as this run has been, miraculous at times, there isn't enough left in the tank.
Cage triggered.
As we said before, there will be things missing from this potential last buy for TeamLiquid Academy. 2 Guardians in the mix, couple of light shields. It's not what you want. There's no ultimates either. In fact, GiantX have the advantage because of that Viper's Pit compared to the Yeoman ultimate. And they try and approach C to TeamLiquid Academy, and it's well stocked for GiantX.
GX had issues before when conceding Garage control, and you can see the cogs turning for Cloud as it is mid-proactivity they're going to look for. Ara punished. A slap on the wrist from 1-0. And now the Garage re-clear comes in from the defense.
Yeah, but you look towards where that spike positioning is, and if that gets caught in transition, this could be an awkward one. So TeamLiquid Academy try to open up Garage, but it could have went the either way. Still within 1 are the 2 teams, and Mystic at least able to get a concise advantage, and one which will end up in a round win. We're still within 4 with these 2 teams.
Liquid taking their chance, a roll of the dice, but it's an opportunity which they seize. GX had the right ideas in repossessing Garage, but it also comes through Ara's death here that problems start to arise. The first of 5 picked up for Liquid Academy, but 4 more required. The same that was asked of GX against Na'Vi yesterday on the second map. This, the decider, as the defenders are just one round away from the grand final.
Well, is this Karma coming back to find GiantX? Oh, the Outlaw not hitting from 1-0.
Liquid Academy finding themselves in the eye of the storm with that early A lobby battle. Do back up, but now you're expecting the standard checklist to be sorted through. The deep drone from the Sova player to take the space back and clear a player off the angle. Do they find Grubby here?
The answer, no, but they did find the Neon, so they should know those presence here, and it's actually the ultimate in which they use. But Grubby, an opportunity, one that GSR did see. At least Prox gets Ara in the meantime, so 4-4. You can see right there, Rex had also taken a lot of damage after that engagement.
It's like they could maybe want to try and fake this a little bit through 1-0 as much as possible. Still on the Outlaw, but gonna pop the ult. Goes into the site. So many numbers here. Still wins the duel.
Oh, at least able to find Cloud in the meantime. The rest should be easy enough, but with Flickless picking up this Outlaw, he has 2 targets that would be clear-cut. Simple as that. The third one, unsure, has taken damage, so
yeah,
chances there.
Biggest issue for him right now is his own health bar, which is battling against him. Liquid have taken on board damage, like you say, but Mystic, the healthy one, is part of this double stack. Flickless out of options, really. Has the pit, of course, but think Liquid might just have found that second round of the 5 that they require.
It looks like it. As Flickless tries to drop in, he drops to the depths. Within 3 are we. GiantX need to be careful now, because that momentum can really, really work against them.
It's what we've seen so much of. Liquid on the first map, Abyss, had absolutely none of it. Game always going against them. Even when they were able to find thrifty rounds, they couldn't channel any of it. But here, you can see GX crumble just a little bit. Is the eco, the pistols, of course. I have to give credit where it's due. But Liquid are going through the motions.
Viper's Pit flung into the mix. GiantX trying to force the attack away from this portion of the map, but they're gambling. They want to try and deal with this, and they're even going to at least get the Viper Molly out.
And if Liquid can win this one, then you're almost guaranteed 24 rounds of play between the two. Slow start, but Rex embedded within the depths of sewer. Westside still keeping half an eye on it, and now Rex knows where he plays from.
He does. 3 players strong on the A site. GiantX with a Cosmic Divide as well. The key difference for a retake. And they've heard the ISO shield being popped, so they should know that this is going to be it. Hunter's Fury into the mix. One player was tagged, that was Cloud, but he is able, I thought for a moment, to keep alive. It's not the case. From the corner is cleared. West side can't go any better. So Team Liquid Academy keep the advantage. Spike goes down.
3 versus 2, super long rotation. Grubby wants to interrupt.
Yeah, he's going to try and flood this in. I mean, it's all up to the rifle, no utility. And does get the Cypher. Anticipated peaks coming his way! It's GiantX to stop the giant killings! And well has it. They'll go all the way to the grand final.
Grubby gets it done, and GX make it through the test alive. 13-9. They will join Eternal Fire in our grand final tomorrow. There were points for both of these teams where it looked like they'd taken their foot off the gas, and Liquid right at the end not offering enough on their attack side after we stressed the importance of having a good defensive half, Cairo. They'll still come away from this tournament happy with the progress that has been made for their Academy project heading into 2026, but for GX, they have secured the grand final, and that is the biggest takeaway for them.
Yeah, it is. And the other thing that we have to be considering is the fact that there's players on that Team Liquid Academy team that are ready to play in VCT this year who haven't been picked up. Players like Rexstone, and the fact that they're able to do so much damage in the Blender system, it has been really one to watch, and one that I've been really like happy to see because of how we've watched their journey over the year.
Yeah, right. It's still not confirmed who is penned into the contract and who isn't, whereas on the GX side, it's that consistency competition, and now a grand final against Eternal Fire awaits. We're going to pass it back to the desk to close out the show and see what their thoughts are heading into Grand Final Sunday.
Gents, a banger series nonetheless, and one that TeamLiquid Academy will be gutted in. I think Caro summed it up perfectly at the end there, guys. It was their tournament really through and through, like captured the hearts of many. Unfortunately, couldn't get the final job done to make it all the way.
Yeah, I completely agree. We mentioned it time and time again how it felt like the Blender draft was almost built for them. It set them up in a lot of moments, and I think today it finally actually got the better of them. I'm not going to lie. We mentioned bringing Mystic on, switched up some of the roles, and I think it was on the 2 maps that ended up in this pool that they had the most implications for that.
And we've also been following them for the longest in the tournament, right? They came into phase 2, so we watched them not only in, you know, the Swiss stage, but in the round robin and now in the single elimination. We've been clinging on to this storyline for so long that you're almost rooting for them just because of this longevity.
Yeah, I mean, a team that the only team left, if I'm not mistaken, that made it all the way from phase 2. So, you know, with all intents and purposes, a surprising run, but one of which that we were really happy to see. I know we wanted to talk about that final map just a little bit as we run through things. Again, a slow start for the GiantX side. I think something that plagued them a lot outside of this series. We thought they'd crushed that heading into this first and second map, but in the third, clearly it's came back to bite them.
Yeah, we ended where we began because at the beginning of the show, right, we said even up against Rambo, right, in the round of 16, they literally were down 1-5 on Haven and then won 12 in a row to close it out 13-5. Didn't drop a single one. Now, TeamLiquid Academy, obviously, maybe a bit higher caliber there, did put up some retaliation, especially towards the end there. We saw, again, I think Rexstone put up a great fight. Yeah, so we'll see if it's an issue tomorrow or not, basically. It's hit or miss.
Yeah, I think the pacing of the rounds and where the weight was we got to see really all ends of the spectrum, right? We started on Abyss, where it felt like the rounds were decided in the first, 20, 30 seconds. It was multi-kills, and it was, 4 versus 1 by the time that the minute mark sort of hit, right? To a really sort of nitty-gritty, real brawl.